What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City transfer update. We've got lots of stories to get on through. So before I crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content and you want to help support my channel, then subscribe, press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. I'm aiming for 7,000 subscribers at the time of recording now. We're now less than 400 subscribers away, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Don't forget also you can find my social media links in the description below for my Twitter and Instagram. It's also popping up on screen if you want to go and search for me and follow me on there. That'd be much appreciated. My email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget also leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. We smashed our 160 like goal that we set in at my last video, so this time we're going to be ambitious. Let's see if we can get 200 likes on this video, and don't forget also leave your thoughts in the comments below for these transfers. So let's crack on with this video. We're going to start off with the outs first because I've only got one bit of news. I've got plenty of in news, so there's lots to get through with that. So I'm just going to quickly start with the outs. And we've got an update from my last video on Angelino. He has posted on Instagram that he's going to see his teammates at Red Bull Leipzig after the break. I'm presuming he's talking here about the Champions League resuming, so that's when he's going to see them again. So Leipzig's going to have a month or so off now for them to be able to regroup, get their energy back, and then come back strong, or they're going to try to in the Champions League instead. And so I presume that's what he's on about with Angelino saying that. But he also did add in a comment when he was questioned by a Manchester City fan that he'd be returning back to Manchester City by saying that he knows what he said with a little smiling emoji. He's teasing, is what he's doing. He's teasing the move, of course. This is in follow-up to my last update with Leipzig becoming ever more confident, according to their manager Nagelsmann, that they are going to seal a permanent transfer for Angelino. Like I said, they've got an option to bring Angelino in for 22 to 23 million euro. Will they pay that? They apparently have been struggling, wanting to pay half of that. I imagine City will be able to get interest for that price of 22 to 23 million euro from elsewhere in Europe, so I imagine that Leipzig would have to pay that. So still waiting for a bit of news on that, but in my opinion, time will tell about what is going to happen there. So we're going to move on to the ins now, and we're going to be speaking about a new name. Comes in the form of Thiago of Bayern Munich. Central midfielder, has 1 year left on his contract in Bavaria. He's 29 years old, born in Italy, plays in Spain, much like David Silva in the central midfield. Now, Sam Lee has been reporting that Manchester City could have a look at Thiago, as using him as a potential breakthrough for the negotiations with Leroy Sané. It's an interesting theory. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I see us signing a central midfielder and a winger this summer, so signing a central midfielder would make sense, and breaking through them hard negotiations with Bayern Munich again would make sense. I've heard on the grapevine, not confirmed this, but City are more interested in potentially bringing in David Alaba rather than Thiago. But Bayern Munich do not wish for David Alaba to leave. He also has 1 year left on his contract, and Bayern Munich, if he isn't going to sign a new contract, are more than happy for that to go on for another season. So make of that what you will. City are trying their hardest to try and break through these negotiations with Leroy Sané, but at the end of the day, if a fee cannot be agreed this summer, City are more than happy to use Leroy Sané for one last season. Now, we've got an update on Mason Holgate, and this is interesting. Football Insider have been reporting that Manchester City are keen on the Everton centre-back, and they could use John Stones as a swap deal to try and bring Holgate in at Manchester City. Now, Mason Holgate is highly regarded at Everton. The Everton fans love him. He's a potential captain material for them, much like what was being spoken about when John Stones signed for Manchester City. And so it's like their like-for-like replacement. Now, there's no mention of value, no mention of cash. I know Manchester City are looking for roughly around £40 million for John Stones. I'm not too sure how much Everton are looking for Mason Holgate, but from what I've been hearing from their fans and how highly regarded he is, and him being homegrown, I can imagine Everton probably looking for more than £40 million. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen there, but it is something for Manchester City to potentially use if they wanted to go into negotiations with Everton for Mason Holgate, using John Stones perhaps plus a bit of cash. Do not know. But in my opinion, John Stones, he's low on confidence, just needs his confidence up. He's still a quality centre-back. He's just, confidence is shot, and in my opinion, his future lies away from Manchester City, just purely so he can have a new start to get his confidence back up. No doubt in his quality. I've seen it in a Manchester City shirt. He's a quality player, just needs his confidence up. And with the high demands of Manchester City, I just don't think that suits John Stones at this moment in time. But Mason Holgate is becoming one of many names on the list that is growing for Manchester City to potentially bring in this summer when it comes to centre-backs. Now, moving on, we've got an update on Romeo Lavia from Anderlecht. Now, HLN source in Belgium reporting that he has now joined Manchester City from Anderlecht. He's a 16-year-old defensive midfielder that I've been speaking about in my last couple of transfer updates. He's going to go into the City academy side. He's going to go to the under-18s side. That is going to be for the start of next season. So I wanted to take this moment. Of course, it won't be officially announced. He'll just turn up, but he is a Manchester City player. So welcome, Romeo. Enjoy your stay in Manchester and good luck for the future. Now we've got an update on Ismail Benessa. Now CalcioMercato.com, which is an Italian source, have interestingly reported that Pep Guardiola has apparently phoned up, contacted Benessa to tell him that he likes his style of football, likes the way he plays, he's an admirer of him and wants to bring him to Manchester City. And it's all the stuff that was upset that Bayern Munich were doing to Leroy Sané. So if this is true, I just don't like the tactic. That's my honest opinion. I'm not too sure if this source is believable or not, if I'm completely honest. City are perhaps looking at central midfielders this summer. Aura is a name that has been mentioned plenty of times. Benessa is also an option that City are considering too. I'm not too sure if he's going to be an affordable option, Benessa, for City from AC Milan, due to the reluctance of AC Milan wanting to sell Benessa. However, with Aura, it'd be more realistic because Lyon are looking to sell Aura this summer. But at least we're learning our lessons, because City, when we're getting linked with players, we're not just getting linked with one player and putting out all our eggs into one basket, we're actually getting linked with 2 or 3 players, so there's lots of contingencies should one signing not work out, which is something that we have struggled with in the past. Remember when we put all our eggs in the basket of Jorginho and that didn't happen, then we didn't sign a defensive midfielder, and then we were crying out for a central midfielder, a defensive midfielder, and we had to go and sign them the next summer. So City obviously trying to learn their lessons and identifying lots of targets, which is why City are getting linked with lots of names. So yeah, that's interesting on Benessa. So moving on, Manchester City has signed a player. This came out of the blue just the other day. Now, Damasio in Spain was reporting that Manchester City would sign Pablo Moreno from Juventus. He's an 18-year-old striker who plays for the Spain under-18 side. He has apparently had his medical this weekend. He's going to have his medical, I think, today. And as part of that deal, he is going to go out on loan to Girona for next season in Spain. Felix Correa, the Manchester City player, he is going to leave in the opposite direction and he is going to go and join Juventus as part of this transfer. Now, Marca in Spain, very interestingly, said that Manchester City are paying €10 million for Moreno, so it shows how highly rated he is. But to me, that seems very steep for a player that's never played at more than academy level. He's unproven. Quality seems to be there for City to be interested in wanting to sign him, obviously, but €10 million is a lot of money for someone that hasn't played first-team football, in my opinion. And then Correa going in the opposite direction, are Juventus paying him, or are Manchester City paying €10 million plus Correa to bring in Moreno? The details are very sketchy, but anyway, sources have come out today saying that in Spain, are saying that Moreno will sign for Manchester City. That will be today, and he will sign a contract until 2024. So to say a big warm welcome to Pablo Moreno. Hope he has a very successful loan next season at Girona and potentially may join the City Academy side and eventually the first team squad at City. We'll have to see how things develop. Now, David Ornstein's been speaking quite a bit in the last few hours. He's been reporting at The Athletic that Manchester City are having a good look once again at Nathan Ake, and he is on the radar and is an option for Manchester City to consider at centre-back for the upcoming summer transfer window. Now, Manchester City have been scouting Nathan Ake for well over a year. They decided in January not to make a move for him. They were happy to go with their squad, and we are once again now being linked with him. He is a homegrown player, so to me, this will only happen should John Stones leave Manchester City. If he leaves Manchester City, we need a homegrown player. So signing someone like Nathan Ake would make sense. Now, it's interesting because if Bournemouth get relegated, their value for him will come down. They value Nathan Ake at around £40 million, which is the same as what City are valuing John Stones at. I personally feel that that is a lot of money in this current market. He was valued at £40 million last season. Obviously, a contract has run down an extra year. The pandemic's hit as well, £40 million. I imagine City will be looking to get that price right down. And if Bournemouth are relegated, and I like Bournemouth, they play some good football. Eddie Howe's done a very good job there, and I hope they don't get relegated. But if they do get relegated, that £40 million price tag will come down again. And so City potentially looking at alternatives, not only to Kalidou Koulibaly, but I feel like this is more of a... Remember me saying a few weeks ago that City were looking at 2 centre-backs, and this potentially might be Manchester City looking to generate some sales with their players. So this could happen, if Otamendi was to leave Manchester City and John Stones was to leave Manchester City both this season. My personal gut feeling is only one will leave, but if both leave, then City will need 2 centre-backs. And so signing a homegrown centre-back would make sense, and bringing in Nathan Ake for the right price would make sense. Ornstein did add that City are getting linked with lots of other centre-backs. There's one from Shakhtar they're getting linked with. They're getting linked with Borussia Dortmund's Dan Axel Zagadou, that's how you say his name as well. So we are getting linked with lots of names on that potential growing list of players that could well join Manchester City this summer. Now moving on, another update on another centre-back, Milan Skriniar. We've not heard from him in a while now. Apparently Inter Milan, according to Calcio, Mercato.com, an Italian source, are saying that Inter Milan are interested in selling Milan Skriniar, finally, and they want Sergio Aguero of Manchester City to be used in a potential swap deal, which could see Milan Skriniar head to City and Aguero heading to Inter Milan. Seems very far-fetched. Aguero's done a long service at Manchester City. He's been a wonderful football player. He has the rights to do literally anything that he wants at Manchester City, and I don't see Aguero being sold by Manchester City at any one point. I see Aguero leaving when Aguero wants to, and at this moment in time Aguero hasn't said that he wants to leave Manchester City anytime soon. He wants to stay, he wants to win the Champions League, so yeah, there is that. But Sergio Aguero, I feel like he'll leave Manchester City only when his contract runs out. His contract, I think, is up next summer. I can imagine him doing another season and extending his deal by one more season. So, personally, I don't feel this. Although I do find it interesting that Milan Skriniar is getting linked with the exit door at Inter Milan, and so there may be a potential, should City want to pay cash, for Skriniar to leave to join Manchester City, but City definitely are preferring Kalidou Koulibaly at this moment in time. Now, I'm just going to speak quickly before I speak about my update on Kalidou Koulibaly. The Italian sources are spreading a lot of news about, a lot of fake news. It's very difficult for me to digest what is the truth and what isn't, and so I'll just put a little bit of recommended advice out there. Fabrizio Romano and Di Marzio are 2 very reliable sources from Italy. When they speak, normally it does come out in facts. And so they're the 2 sources in Italy I tend to listen to for facts. I will listen to the other ones to see what's happening, because I find it interesting seeing what players are getting linked and what's happening elsewhere. But them 2 are the 2 main Italian sources that I will listen to. And when City are getting linked with players from Italy, it's important to listen not only to them 2 Italian sources that I just mentioned, but to listen to sources in England too. And I'm not hearing anything about Milan Skriniar from England. So at the moment in time, I'm just going to put this down to being gossip. But I am hearing from Italy, and I am hearing from England, I am hearing from reliable sources. Kalidou Koulibaly is where Manchester City are turning their attention to. So my update on him, Sam Lee, one of the sources that I will listen to in England, is reporting that Manchester City are working on a deal to try and bring in Kalidou Koulibaly. He's having his reservations and cautions over Napoli's owner and how difficult they are to negotiate with, and it's completely understandable. Just think back to a couple of seasons ago and what happened with Jorginho. Strung us along for well over a month. We were set to sign him. They were waiting and waiting and waiting for Sarri to leave, join Chelsea. They'll come in with a bid a couple of £1 million more. They accepted that offer. They accepted that offer in the hope that Manchester City would then up their offer, because then they'd have accepted that. And that's exactly what Napoli will try and do with Kalidou Koulibaly, and it's really difficult. Now, the Daily Mail are reporting that Liverpool, they're interested in signing Kalidou Koulibaly too, and they want him. The Sun are reporting that Liverpool want Kalidou Koulibaly. Tuttosport are reporting this in Italy too, that Liverpool are willing to offer Dejan Lovren, and that apparently is swaying Napoli towards Liverpool rather than Manchester City. Now, my personal opinion is surely if you've been offered Dejan Lovren and you're Napoli, you're going to prefer Manchester City, because you don't want Dejan Lovren near your centre-back. Imagine replacing Koulibaly with Dejan Lovren. It's like City chucking out Nicolas Otamendi out there. I mean, they could do that. I just don't see Napoli being personally that interested, and I don't see them being interested in Lovren, but this is Napoli we're speaking about. Anything is possible. Now, David Ornstein's hopped on the bandwagon too. He's reporting there's definite interest from City in Kalidou Koulibaly. No offer there yet from Manchester City. No contact from Manchester City there either. I know that City will start to look to do their business right towards the end of the season. So City, at this moment in time, are just identifying targets, and Kalidou Koulibaly seems like he's right at the top of the list of centre-backs that City could sign this summer. Will Manchester City get it done? Time will tell. So there we go, that has been the video. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy this video, leave a thumbs up so I know that you enjoyed the video. Like I said, aiming for 200 likes, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. You can leave your thoughts in the comments below for these potential transfers too, including City bringing in Moreno from Juventus and the updates on Koulibaly as well. And don't forget, also subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. You can also find my social media links in the description below and pop it up on screen if you want to go and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll keep you up to date with everything happening, retweeting sources and things like that. And don't forget, also email in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business enquiries. You can go check out my other previous transfer updates too. I did my live stream from that Newcastle game yesterday. That's on my channel. You can go and check that out too. And I'll see you all again for the next video, which again will more than likely be another Manchester City transfer update, with no doubt another update on Kalidou Koulibaly. So I'll see you then. So I've been JSGC. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.